3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? This is Oddsar here. I'm bringing you guys my Week 5 match of the BBR D-League, and we're facing off versus Aprater and his Manchester Park Slowpokes. So let's just kind of jump on into the matchup itself, and then we'll get into why you're looking at Aprater's side and not my own. Actually, we can start with that. I am very awful at recording. Apparently, I clicked the record button, and it didn't record. So after this week, I have been double clicking record buttons, one on OBS and then one on another program that I use for the Elgato. I think it's 4K Elgato. I've been trying to use either one of those, and now I'm just going to use both. So we're going to use both and make sure that never happens again. I've had so much problems with recordings, it's not even funny, and I'm still just getting back used to YouTube and getting my recordings right. I'm sorry, it'll just take a little bit longer, hopefully not too much longer, and we'll have everything situated. So with the team that I'm bringing, well, let's just start off with Chimpao. This is a Lumberry Chimpao with Brick Break, Throat Chop, Sucker Punch, and Ice Spinner. This is kind of to expect either some type of Thunder Waving Grimmsnarl. This is also to deal with Skeledirge. Skeledirge is a pretty annoying one for this team. He can Willow me, so I can take the Lum, and then I can just Throat Chop it back, completely neutralizing Torch Song. Torch Song is a sound-based move, so that is why Chimpao is the way he is, so he can't burn me, and then I can most likely 2-hit KO him with Throat Chop after a Colbur Berry. I am expecting the Colbur Berry from the set. After that, let's go out into Garchomp. I am a pretty offensive Garchomp for the most part, with Earthquake, Spikes, Stealth Rocks, and Dragon Claw. This is my it's a semi check to the different mons. I think the HP is to, honestly, I don't remember. It's been a while, but I do know it was supposed to live a hit from something specific. I think maybe it was like a +2 backs hit. I think that's what it was. It was a +2 backs hit with Yachi was my HP investment with 100. So I was 100 HP, 164 attack, and then 244 speed with a plus speed nature. Yeah, let's go into the Sylveon. Sylveon is pretty basic this week, but it's what I needed to be able to live a Sludge Bomb from a Toxtricity. I had to be max HP, max special defense with a plus special defense nature with a Cabia Berry, and just to be able to switch into a wrong predicted move. And if he is Specs, then I am able to pivot into Corviknight, or do something along those lines to figure out what he is. And there's that. After that, we have Slowbro. Slowbro is my Baxcalibur check. It is also my Palatine check, which it can do to varying degrees of successfulness. But those are the two things it is going to check. It is max HP, max defense with a Wakan Berry for the Terra Blast on Baxcalibur. After that, we have Corviknight, and it is U-Turn, Defog, Roost, Body Press with max HP, max defense. Majority of Aprater's team is fairly physically offensive. That's everything that Corviknight wants to take on is physically defensive. It's the Baxcalibur, it is the Palatine, it is the Iron Treads, even the Grimmsnarl is physically offensive. I'm I'm not taking any hits from Skeledirge or Toxtricity, so that's why it is fully offensive. It has nothing that I can really switch in, especially on his team. And finally, we have Slither Wing with U-Turn, First Impression, Earthquake, and Life Orb instead of my favorite booster energy. It's just I'm never going to get booster off again. because I think Slither Wing is going to come in and out a few different times throughout this match, and I really need the Life Orb for a prolonged amount of time. So, and my spread is 28 HP, 252 attack, and then 228 speed with a plus speed nature. And that is the team I am ending up bringing. And let's kind of talk about leads real fast. My lead, and I said it before the match, was Slither Wing. That was going to be my lead. It does really well into into Iron Treads, his Red Riot. Also Grimmsnarl. I can. My plan was, if he does go out into Grimmsnarl, I do live a Spirit Break and then be able to be fine from there. Palafin was also another interesting lead because just to try and get it out and then back in later. It's really tricky to get Palafin in and out. I think that's what a lot of people are having the most trouble with Palafin, is the getting it into the little baby form and then back out into the big form. It's getting if you don't lead it, it's hard to get Palafin out like that. And and that's what I'm more or less expecting. One of those three mons is either Treads, Palafin, or Grimmsnarl. And Grimmsnarl, I'm expecting screens. That's what I'm expecting. And so let's just jump into the match here, and we will kind of go along as we go. And he does end up leading Grimmsnarl, as you've seen there, and I lead off with my Slither Wing. With the Slither Wing set, I'm expecting screens. I'm expecting screens. That's the main thing that I'm expecting here, and that's what I'm going to be going for. I just want to do as much damage as I possibly can for this thing, and completely blow it away so that it's not a threat to Chimpow or Garchomp, or I'm trying to limit screens as much as possible. Screens are a really big nuisance to me, and this thing is able to kind of switch on Chimpow a little bit. It's able to just be annoying to my team, and just I want to remove the possibility of having like a Baxcalibur behind screens or anything like that. My entire goal was to always attack this immediately, and a Spirit Break will not kill me. So I felt decently confident in that. So I am just going to end up clicking CC here. And I'm not sure if... I don't think this is necessarily an awful play with the bulk up. It was definitely a very big surprise to me. I was not expecting bulk up at all with against my team. It actually does pretty well. It was not what I was expecting. I thought screens were definitely more scary to me, and I honestly, I didn't even have this set in mind whenever playing or calcing. I wasn't even expecting bulk up, and whenever he did show it, I felt pretty good just slamming some close combat straight into it. It was definitely a lucky prediction on my part. Is just because I was so afraid of screens that I felt it was necessary, and with a close combat into a couple screens, I felt that it was a possible 2-hit KO. It was very slight, but it was definitely a possible 2-hit KO with that. But it bringing Grimmsnarl low with pretty much unrecoverable damage except for rest, I felt that was the play. And I'm not expecting bulk up. So whenever you have rest, I normally expect bulk up. I wouldn't really expect a rest set with screens. So that's kind of where my thought process was just trying to get damage on this Pokemon, because it's very, very annoying for my team. And after that, he does end up just kind of letting me have the Grimmsnarl after I decide to he does let me get the Grimmsnarl after I decide to CC on his bulk up. I wasn't expecting the bulk up set. If I was, I maybe played that a little bit differently, but good prep on Aprater. It wasn't something that I was expecting, so I didn't think about that was a possibility of a offensive Grimmsnarl. So whenever he does go out into that, he does go out into Skeldurge. And I'm at -2. I could Earthquake it and do a ton, but it's a roll to live, and depending on different things, like depending on if he's Shuka or something like that, he definitely could be Shuka for Garchomp. I was not too confident in clicking Earthquake here, and being -2, I want to keep this thing healthy and alive, and it just wasn't worth the risk of some type of either Scarf set or just Shuka set. I was mainly thinking Shuka, but there are sets that can outspeed Slither Wing with Scarf as well, so I wasn't really sure about that. So I decided to switch out here, and he really threw me off here with this Flame Charge. I was not expecting a Flame Charge Skeldurge. It actually does pretty decent against my team too. I was not expecting it. You normally think of Skeldurge as this more bulky mon. He does have to have quite a bit of speed to be able to outspeed Garchomp, but he does actually run that speed. I do Baton Pass out after that Torch Song, and I go out into Garchomp. Garchomp will be able to live any hit that Skeldurge can do. It's a pretty free Garchomp here for the most part, right? He's going to take a lot of damage, and it's going to be a very unfortunate chip for the likes of Baxcalibur with my Yachi, or even with Treads. Like, I'm not able to take an Ice Spinner anymore with that, but I do end up going out into Garchomp and just barely miss out on this KO. I was expecting a Shuka or something along those lines, but just a sliver away from missing. And honestly, I think I got a high roll from that. When looking back up at the calc, it shows that I should be doing it's like a 50% chance to Oko from a max attack Garchomp, since I am lessening my attack a little bit. I do think it was a roll. It was in his favor to live, because I was not max attack. I probably got a pretty high roll there, but generally it shouldn't have mattered too much. But man, that was so close. And it does outspeed me, so I'm debating on what do I sack. I need Sylveon for Tox. If I let Sylveon go down, I can't live anything from Tox. Slowbro isn't going to outspeed, and then if he clicks Fire Move, I'm fine, but if he's going to click Shadow Ball, Slowbro's dying. The Corviknight can't do it. Slither Wing can't do it. I don't have a switch into this thing, so I end up, I can revenge this thing, but I can't switch into it. So I'm letting go of Garchomp here, and it's a hard play to do, but I felt like I had no other mon I need. I don't need Garchomp necessarily anymore. I still have the pieces to deal with Bax. I still have the pieces to deal with Palafin. This is my main reasoning for staying in. I can't afford to take any more damage on something else. I can't afford to take damage on Sylveon, and that's why I end up trying to sack off Garchomp here. He does end up with a slight overplay here, expecting me to switch out. Ends up sacking the Skeldurge to the Garchomp. I couldn't switch it out into anything, and you saw that I was kind of taking quite a bit of time just to think about what I'm trying to do here, and I felt I had to sack Garchomp because I need every other piece. Obviously I can't go out into Chimpao. That's a really intense play of oh, I'm going Chimpao on the Shadow Ball. I can't risk Chimpao doing that. But yeah, I end up trying to sack the Garchomp, and he does slightly overplay there with the Torch Song. The Torch Song was still a good play, but it was just not enough to take over guard. Still decent play. It wasn't able to deal with Garchomp completely. It kind of it definitely covers the Sylveon pivot, or yeah, it'd be the Sylveon pivot is what he was expecting. And I do end up keeping Garchomp around for the next week. He does go out into Iron Treads. I at this point, Garchomp's too low to be able to do anything. Like, I can't deal with. I don't outspeed this. Tox I can deal with, right? Because I outspeed, but like, what do I switch into this, right? I guess I could go Corv. Like, Corv was probably the better play. It's just I felt that Bax and Palafin just completely beat this Pokemon at this point, and same with Treads. So three out of his 4 Pokemon completely beat this one. I didn't think it was worth it keeping Garchomp around, and I do end up just sacking it to the Iron Treads here. Let's see if we can kind of, yeah, I do sack it to the Iron Treads here. After that, I go out into, I believe I go out into Slither Wing here. Slither Wing is just to force this thing out. I'm not Scarf, so he can do a pretty heavy slam into me. It'll do about 60 or so, but I'm just trying to get damage off on this. I'm assuming he was probably thinking a first impression of some kind. I'm not sure necessarily, but I do just want to get massive damage onto this Iron Treads, and I just click this big old CC, and he goes out into Palafin. I'm assuming he is expecting some type. I have no idea what he was necessarily expecting here, but this was a very I'm interested to see what his thought process was going out into Palafin here, because I wanted to just completely destroy the Iron Treads, and it's Air Balloon, so I can't Earthquake. So yeah, I just hit a big physical attack in close combat, and I gladly go right out into Palafin. Palafin is no longer a threat. It didn't even get to go into hero form this game, and that it's no more. After that, he does go out into, I believe he goes back out into Treads. Yes, yeah, he goes back out into Treads. This is a little tricky for me because I need to keep my berry for Volt Switch, right? I have a berry on Slowbro. I can't just switch in Slowbro to Iron Treads. I have to kind of pivot to like Corviknight or do something along those lines if I'm trying to switch in and out on this thing. And I do believe I actually go Corviknight here, because like that is now my switch into Iron Treads, because I can't go out into Slowbro because of the berry and because of Volt Switch. Good thing is Corviknight is pretty fine to do that, and I had to go out into Corv. Okay, right, sorry, I'm backtracking a little bit. I had to go out into Corv here because Slither Wing was not able to take a heavy slam at -1 is my intention there. So I had to switch out. He goes out into this. I just click U-turn here. He clicks Volt Switch, and we both are able to pivot into different things. He goes into Tox. I believe I go out into I don't remember exactly what I go out into. This honestly could have been a Chimpow as well, because with Throw Chop, Boom Burst or Electro Drive isn't able to do anything to me. But I do think I end up actually going out into Slither Wing to try and scare it out, and try and figure out what type of set this is. If it's Scarf, then then I'm afraid. If it's not Scarf, then I can kind of go out into different mons. I think I was fearing Scarf because it would be able to outspeed Chimpao, and that's why I didn't want to risk Chimpao at this moment, and I could kind of go out into my very loose wording of check that we can ever say, which is Sylveon, right? That's kind of what I do. I end up going Slither Wing because I didn't want to show my hand with Chimpao, and I will just think about this for quite some time, and I do go out into Slither Wing. He is definitely in Earthquake range, but not knowing his set, not knowing what he is, just barely seeing it, I had to switch out into Sylveon, and with a Electro Drive, I'm able to finish this thing off. Or no, he's not able to finish me off. I'm sorry. I'm doing words. I'm able to live a Sludge Bomb from this range because of the Kebia Berry. I live that, and I will take a. I'll take a Wish here. I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my words here, but I will be able to take a Wish here, and I know that Tox outspeeds me, but I also know that he is not Scarf, so I can go out into Chimpao, I can go out into Slither Wing, get that healthy, or yeah, one of those two. That is what it would be revenging this, would be Chimpao or Slither Wing. And I'm perfectly fine letting Sylveon go down if I'm able to wish one of those up, right? And that is what I end up doing. I end up clicking Wish here because that just sets me up for a later success, because I don't need to kill this thing immediately knowing that is not Scarf. And I know it's not Scarf because if it was locked into Electric move, then I am never 2-hit KO'd. And I can just stay in, let Sylveon go down, and kill off this Toxtricity. I did not need Sylveon anymore, especially with that low amount of HP. Bax isn't able to do anything to it. Iron Treads kills it, and this thing kill it. So Sylveon just isn't in, doesn't do anything for me for the rest of this match. So I end up just attempting to sack it, but Sylveon ends up getting its Wish back, and he ends up clicking Sludge Bomb. I live it gladly, and then I Psychic again, killing off the Toxtricity. Just a slight overplay. It's just because I didn't need the Sylveon from a Aprater. I didn't need the Sylveon anymore, and with a Wish up, I think I was still fine to be able to take something from something else, and knowing your set and knowing what you are, I can play around that. And I couldn't afford to go out into one of the others, because Electric move just destroys everything that's left. Slowbro dies to an Electric move. Corviknight dies to an Electric move. I couldn't risk anything else, and I end up trying to sack the Sylveon. Since Sylveon is still alive, gladly, he does go out into Red Riot. I can go pretty easily into either Slowbro or Corviknight on the pivot. I do believe oh, right, sorry. One of two things here. I was planning on sacking the Sylveon here, and because of the same reasons prior. Sylveon doesn't actually do anything at its HP to anything left. I don't need to keep it. And with that, I end up trying to sack the Sylveon again. He clicks Volt Switch. I click Baton Pass on the likelihood of a Bax Caliber Volt Switch. The other option was I probably could have Hyper Voiced. Probably would have been a better position for me to bring the Bax to a pretty low HP. But I think either one, I get initiative in the turn. I can't afford to switch something into. I can't afford to switch something into Iron Treads. Like, Corviknight can do it. It's just I don't beat it. I don't do much to it, and it's not needed to keep Sylveon. So that is my thought process there. With that, Sylveon does come out. I do end up baton passing. I did say like maybe Hyper Voice was the better play, but either way, I get into the thing I need to get into, which was the Slowbro. I am able to get into Slowbro here. He goes out. He does end up just clicking Terra Electric and starting to D-Dance. D-Dance was very scary for my team, but with like a lot of priority with Slither Wing and a priority with Chimpao, I thought I was mostly fine if he did end up clicking Dragon Dance. It's a very, very scary matchup, especially Bax is just hard to deal with in general, especially being Terra Electric with my team, because the 2 mons that are supposed to check it don't really check it anymore. And this was really good prep for him because he's able to live a foul play into another foul play with Baxcalibur. And that was just a really good prep with him with the berry. He does Terra Blast. I am berry, which is what Slowbro is here for, and I bring Bax to basically red. It's basically dead at this point. And I click foul play again, and it just a little sliver, not quite enough. I'm really curious on why. It felt like foul play did so much more the first time, and then not as much the second time. I'm really curious on that roll and like what caused that. It felt like it was just doing so much the first time. Maybe I'm not sure, but like compare like what it just did to here. Like it was at like it looked like it did like a good 60%. And then it just didn't. I want to see what the Baxcalibur's HP was at. Yeah, it was at full, and then it goes down to like 70%. Right, like that looks like it's in range of another, but it's just barely off, and that's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. But a really good prep on Aprater's part. We're going to kind of skip past here. I end up switching out into Sylveon, just sacking it off. I think Slowbro could be really good help with the Iron Treads. Iron Treads doesn't really do too much to Slowbro or to Corviknight, so I think keeping both of those around was a good idea. If he SDs again, that's very unfortunate, but my play's either Slither Wing or Chimpao either way. So they're both priority moves. Getting another SD up doesn't really change either of those. So he does go for another Terra Blast. Sylveon does go down, and I end up going Slither Wing. This is a little bit risky for me because he definitely could have Protect, and during our DMs, he did tell me he was going to run Protect, and just I picked the wrong Baxcalibur set to gen in. It happens. It's unfortunate, but I did have a counterplay in the back with Chimpao, and Slither Wing is definitely a very problemsome Pokemon with first impression, and I have to click it here, hoping that it's not to hope that there's a better differential for me. But if he does have Protect, then I just go out into Chimpao and be able to click Sucker. So that's at least my thought process here. With that, I am poisoned a little bit, so I am taking Chip on Chip, and I go out into I go out into Slither Wing. I click First Impression. It's a very unfortunate that he didn't have Protect here. He definitely could have gotten 1 or 2 differential points more, but it's kind of how the getting things wrong. Like I've had, it's happened to me tons of different times with with different mons throughout the generations, especially with why am I Hidden Power? Sorry, I'm blanking. With Hidden Power, I've definitely misjinned Hidden Power before. I know this is different with a move, but it feels like a very similar thing. I've dealt with that pain of running the wrong move that I knew I should have had, and I put on, and it just wasn't the right thing. But it happens. It's always sad, and we're able to kill this Baxcalibur. He just has Iron Treads left, and I have 2 months that deal with it pretty well with Slowbro or Corviknight. I end up just letting Corviknight get the kill here, and this is pretty much where we'll wrap it up. I didn't want to risk a heavy slam kill because I was very close in range, depending on how much investment with Slither Wing. I just didn't want to chance it, and with playoffs being very, very close, I wanted to get the best differential I possibly can, and I needed to be able to do this. So I went out into Corviknight, and Corviknight ends up finishing this off for us with a 2-0 victory with some body presses to finish this off. One more body press here, and this is game. Great game to you, Aprater, and I hope you the best of luck. He actually still has some small chance in playoffs. I hope you the best, and good luck, man. See ya later, guys.